AITA for getting mad at my girlfriend, 23F, for posting a revealing photo online. I, 25, and my girlfriend Alex have been together for 2 years. She's really into fitness and often posts workout pictures on Instagram. Yesterday, she posted a photo of herself in just a sports bra and tight shorts at the gym. While her body looked amazing, I felt uncomfortable with how revealing the photo was and how many likes, comments it got from other guys. When I brought it up, she got defensive. It's just a normal gym selfie. I worked hard for this body and I'm proud of it. But I explained that I don't like how sexualized the photo is and all the thirsty comments from random dudes. She argued, it's her body, her Instagram, and I'm being insecure and controlling. We ended up in a huge fight about boundaries in the relationship. She thinks I'm the asshole for trying to police what she can post, while I feel disrespected that she doesn't care about my feelings on this. Ada?
AITA for getting upset at my boyfriend for ruining my birthday surprise. I, 26F, have been dating my boyfriend, 28M, for 3 years. For my birthday this year, he told me he had planned a special surprise weekend getaway, but wouldn't give any details. I was really excited and tried guessing what it could be, but he stayed tight-lipped. On my birthday morning, he said, "Okay, time for your surprise. We're going camping this weekend." I was underwhelmed, to say the least. I tried to act excited, but he could tell I was disappointed and asked what was wrong. I admitted that camping wasn't really my idea of a fun birthday celebration, especially since we go camping pretty regularly anyway. He got really defensive, saying, "Well, excuse me for trying to plan something nice for you. I thought you liked camping." I said I did like camping, but for my birthday I was hoping for something more special, like a weekend at a nice hotel or a spa retreat. He shot back, "Those things cost a lot of money that I don't have right now. I'm sorry my camping trip wasn't good enough for you, Your Highness." We ended up arguing and he stormed out, ruining my birthday completely. I felt bad for seeming ungrateful when he did try to do something nice, but also let down that the special surprise was just another camping trip. A for getting upset and hurting his feelings about the birthday plans he made.
Ada for getting upset when my wife wanted to name our son after her deceased ex. I, 35, and my wife, 32F, recently had a baby boy. We were discussing name options and she brought up the name Connor. That was the name of her ex-boyfriend who passed away a few years ago from cancer. She said she always loved that name and it would be a nice way to honor him. I was taken aback. I told her there was no way I would name my son after her dead ex. She got defensive and said I was being insensitive since he meant a lot to her. I understand he was important, but naming our child after him feels wrong to me. She accused me of being jealous of her past relationships. Am I really being unreasonable here? It's our son's name, something so personal. I don't want him sharing a name with the guy she dated before me. She says it's just a name and I'm making too big a deal of it. Ada for refusing to consider naming him Connor. AITA for getting upset with my girlfriend over her pet snake. I, 28M, and my girlfriend, 25F, have been dating for 2 years. A few months ago, she adopted a pet snake from a friend who couldn't keep it anymore. I was a little weirded out by it at first, but she assured me it was harmless, and I eventually got used to it being around. The issue came up last week when I was over at her place. We were just hanging out and watching TV when her snake started slithering across the floor. I got a little freaked out because it was moving pretty fast towards me. My girlfriend laughed and said, "Aw, he just wants to say hi." But I really don't like having that thing near me. I asked her to please put it back in its enclosure, but she refused. She said, "You're overreacting, it's completely harmless." I got more insistent, saying I didn't care if it was harmless, I didn't want it around me. She got annoyed and accused me of being irrational and not trusting her. We ended up arguing back and forth until I eventually left. She hasn't really talked to me since then, and I feel like I might have overreacted a bit. But at the same time, I think she should respect that I'm uncomfortable around her snake. Ada, ATA, for giving my friend's dog away to a shelter. I, 28M, and my friend Sarah, 26F, had been close friends for years. Sarah recently went through a rough breakup and started drinking heavily. A few months ago, she got a dog, Buddy, to help cope with the loneliness. Last week, Sarah called me in the middle of the night, absolutely wasted. I could barely understand her through the slurring, but she kept saying she couldn't take care of Buddy anymore. I rushed over to her place and found it completely trashed, with Buddy cowering in the corner. Sarah was incoherent and Buddy looked terrified, so I decided to take him to my place for the night. The next day, Sarah didn't answer any of my calls or texts. When I went to return Buddy a few days later, her place was empty. She had moved out without telling anyone. Not knowing what else to do, I took Buddy to an animal shelter. A week later, Sarah called me furious. She screamed that I had no right to give away her dog and that I'm an awful friend. I tried explaining the situation, but she wasn't having it. AITA for giving Buddy away? I felt I had no other choice at the time, but maybe I should have tried harder to contact Sarah first.
AITA for going behind my husband's back to get our daughter on birth control. I, 42, and my husband, 45, have been married for 18 years and have a daughter, 16F. Recently, my daughter confided in me that she has become sexually active with her boyfriend. She told me she's been really careful about using condoms, but she's still worried about getting pregnant. I had a similar experience when I was her age, and I didn't want my daughter to have to go through an unplanned pregnancy or abortion. So I made her a doctor's appointment to get her on birth control pills without telling my husband. He has very traditional values and would likely forbid her from taking birth control. When my husband found out, he was furious. "How could you go behind my back like that?" he yelled. "She's just a child. You're enabling her." I tried to explain that I was just trying to prevent an unwanted pregnancy, but he wasn't having it. He thinks I betrayed his trust and undermined his authority as a parent. Our daughter is grateful but also feels caught in the middle. Was I wrong to get her birth control without her father's consent? AITA. AITA for hiding my ex's ashes from his grieving mother. I, 20F, broke up with my boyfriend Jake, 30M, 2 years ago after dating for 5 years. Our relationship had become toxic and emotionally draining for both of us. Jake tragically passed away in a car accident 6 months after our breakup. After his death, Jake's mother Sarah, 55F, reached out asking for any of his belongings I'd kept. I boxed up his clothes, books, and other items, but hesitated when I found the small urn containing his ashes. Jake had always said he wanted his ashes scattered at our favorite hiking spot where we shared many memories. I didn't have the heart to let his mum know Jake didn't want a traditional burial. Last week, Sarah invited me over under the pretense of picking up the last of Jake's things. When she didn't see the urn, she broke down crying and begged me to return his ashes so she could properly lay him to rest. I lied and said I must have misplaced them during the move. Sarah accused me of being selfish and disrespecting her son's memory. I left feeling guilty, but still want to honor Jake's final wish with the ashes. AITA for keeping this from Sarah. I don't want to cause her more pain, but I also feel like I owe it to Jake to scatter his ashes where he wanted. AITA for keeping my friend's secret from her boyfriend. I, 24F, have been best friends with Sarah, 23F, since high school. She recently started dating Mark, 25M, and they've been together for about 6 months. A few weeks ago, Sarah confided in me that she cheated on Mark with an old fling while on a girls' trip. Sarah was really upset and felt terrible about it. She said it was a drunken mistake and that she still loves Mark. She begged me not to tell Mark because she was afraid he would break up with her. I felt horrible keeping this from Mark, but I agreed to keep Sarah's secret because she's my best friend. Last weekend, Mark and I ended up talking about relationships and trust. He said, I trust Sarah completely. If she ever cheated on me, I'd want to know right away. I froze, not knowing what to say. Part of me wanted to tell him the truth, but I didn't want to betray Sarah's trust or ruin their relationship. So AITA for not telling Mark that Sarah cheated on him, even after he said he'd want to know? I feel guilty for keeping this from him, but Sarah is my oldest friend, and I don't want to lose her. I'm really torn on what the right thing to do is.
AITA for kicking my friend out of the cabin after she ruined my proposal. I, 28M, and my girlfriend, now fiancé, Emily, 27F, were on a weekend getaway with my best friend Steve, 29M, and his girlfriend Tina, 27F. We rented a cozy cabin in the mountains for the trip. I had secretly planned to propose to Emily during our hike on Saturday. On Friday night, we were drinking wine and playing board games in the cabin. Tina had too much to drink and started ranting about her job. She was going on and on about how much she hated her boss and coworkers. Emily tried calming her down, saying, Tina, you're being really negative. Let's change the subject. But Tina snapped, Shut up, Emily. You have no idea how miserable I am. This shocked all of us and ruined the fun vibe. I felt awful seeing Emily so hurt by Tina's outburst. The next morning, I took Emily on our planned hike and proposed at the summit. She said yes, and we were overjoyed. But when we returned to the cabin, Tina was still in a bad mood from the night before. She made snarky comments about the ring and how we were making a mistake. I finally snapped and told Tina, That's enough. You've ruined this special weekend for us with your negativity. Pack your things and leave the cabin now. Tina looked stunned and Steve tried to defend her, but I stood firm. They ended up leaving early. Emily was grateful I stuck up for her, but feels bad that I kicked them out over one bad night. Steve thinks I massively overreacted. Ada? Ada for kicking out my pregnant sister? I, 28M, and my girlfriend, 26F, recently moved into a new apartment together. My younger sister, Sarah, 24F, had a falling out with our parents and needed a place to stay for a few weeks. We agreed to let her stay with us temporarily, as long as she followed our rules and respected our space. At first, things were fine. But over the weeks, Sarah became increasingly difficult to live with. She would leave messes around the apartment, stay up late watching TV, and have her boyfriend over at odd hours. My girlfriend and I spoke to her about it multiple times, but she didn't seem to care. She basically said, I'm your sister, and I have nowhere else to go. You have to let me stay. Then last week, Sarah dropped a bombshell. She told us she's pregnant and plans to keep the baby. While I was happy for her, I knew having a newborn in our small apartment would be extremely difficult. I told Sarah she needed to find her own place, as our agreement was for a temporary stay. She broke down crying, saying we were kicking her out while she's pregnant and vulnerable. My girlfriend agreed that Sarah had overstayed and it was time for her to go. We gave her a month to find a new place and move out. Sarah is furious with us and claims we're being heartless towards family. Our parents are also upset, saying we should support her during the pregnancy. But I feel like Sarah took advantage of our hospitality and I have to put my foot down. Ada?
AITA for not giving my mom a second chance to be in my kids' lives. I, 32, and my husband, 35 at men, have 2 young kids, ages 5 and 3. My mom walked out on my family when I was 12, after years of alcoholism and verbal abuse towards my dad. She chose her drinking buddies over her own daughter. Fast forward 20 years, my mum reached out recently saying, she's been sober for 2 years and wants to be a part of her grandkids' lives. I don't know if I can trust her after the trauma she put me through as a child. My husband thinks I should give her a chance, since she's made an effort to get better. He said, Your mum seems serious about being sober. The kids deserve to know their grandmother if she's truly changed. But I'm terrified of her letting us down again, like she did when I was little. I don't want my kids to experience the pain and disappointment I felt when she chose alcohol over her own family. At the same time, she is their only living grandparent. and I don't want to deprive them of that relationship if she has genuinely reformed. AITA for refusing to let my mom meet my kids until I'm 100% sure she's changed for good. Or should I give her a chance to prove herself and make up for her past mistakes?
AITA for not helping my sister with a risky drug deal. I, 24M, and my sister, 21F, have had a rocky relationship ever since our parents passed away a few years ago. She became involved with the wrong crowd and started dealing drugs to get by. I tried to support her as best I could, but our values clashed. Last week, she approached me about being her driver for a big deal that could set her up for a while. I feel really unsure about this. It seems way too risky. She pleaded, "Please, bro. I really need this money to get back on my feet." Against my better judgment, I agreed. On the day of the deal, we pulled up to the meetup spot and were immediately surrounded by cops. "What the hell is this?" my sister screamed. Turns out her dealer set her up and tipped off the cops. I refused to let her take the fall alone, so we both went to jail that night. Now she's furious at me. If you hadn't come, I could have gotten away with it. But part of me feels like I made the right call by not abandoning her. Ada?
AITA for not letting my friend borrow my car. I, 25F, and my best friend Sarah, 27F, have been close since college. Recently, Sarah asked to borrow my car for a weekend trip. She said her car was in the shop and she really needed a vehicle to visit her parents a few hours away. I hesitated because my car is fairly new and I'm very protective of it. Sarah got frustrated, saying, "Come on, you know I'm a good driver. I just need it for a couple days." I stood firm and said no, which led to an argument. Sarah accused me of not trusting her and being selfish. She said, "I'm always there for you when you need something." This is so petty. I felt terrible since she's been a great friend. But I also paid a lot for my car and didn't want to risk anything happening to it. We haven't spoken since the fight. AITA for refusing to let Sarah borrow my car. I want to repair our friendship, but I'm not sure if I was being unreasonable. AITA for not letting my friend stay with us after her breakup. I, 28F, and my husband, 30M, have been married for 3 years. My best friend Emily, 27F, recently went through a nasty breakup with her boyfriend of 5 years. After he moved out, Emily was an emotional wreck and really struggling financially. She asked if she could stay with us for a few weeks to get back on her feet. I felt terrible for Emily, but my husband was firmly against letting her stay with us. He said, "Our apartment is too small for a third person. It will be really crowded and awkward." I tried reasoning with him, but he insisted it's my home too, and I have a right to be comfortable here. Emily was devastated when I told her she couldn't stay with us. She accused me of being a terrible friend, saying, "I was there for you when your mom was sick. I can't believe you're abandoning me now." Part of me feels like a bad friend for not helping her out. But my husband has a point. Our place is very small, and having a third person could really disrupt our living situation. So AITA for not letting my friend stay with us temporarily. I'm torn because I want to help Emily, but I also need to respect my husband's wishes about our home. AITA for not letting my friend's son play with my dog. I, 28F, have a 3-year-old golden retriever named Buddy, who is very friendly and loves people. My friend Emily, 32F, has a son Jack, 6M, who's a bit rough when playing with animals. Last weekend, Emily and Jack came over to my place. "Hey, can Jack play with Buddy for a bit?" Emily asked. I hesitated, knowing Jack's tendency to be a little too rough. I'm not sure. Jack gets a bit too excited around animals sometimes. "Oh, come on, he'll be fine," Emily insisted. I reluctantly agreed, but I kept a close eye on them. Sure enough, within 10 minutes, Jack was pulling Buddy's ears and tail. "Jack, be gentle with Buddy," I said. But Jack didn't listen, and kept roughhousing. That's enough, Jack. You need to stop playing with Buddy now. But I want to keep playing, Jack whined. He's being too rough. I don't want Buddy getting hurt. It's fine. He's just a kid having fun, Emily said dismissively. I firmly told Jack he couldn't play with Buddy anymore that day. Emily seemed annoyed but didn't argue further. So AITA for not letting Jack play with my dog? I was just trying to protect Buddy. But maybe I overreacted. AITA for not letting my sister use my car? I, 25, and my sister Sarah, 27F, have had a bit of a complicated relationship. We used to be close growing up, but over the years we've drifted apart. Last year, I bought my first car after saving up for years. It's a used Toyota Prius, but I love it and have been really careful to maintain it well. Yesterday, Sarah came over unannounced and asked if she could borrow my car. She said her car was in the shop and she needed to get to work. I was hesitant because Sarah has been in a few minor fender benders before and sometimes drives a little recklessly. I told her, I'm really protective of my car since it's my first one. I'd rather not let you borrow it. Sarah got really angry and said, You're being so selfish. It's just for one day, and I really need to get to work. I felt bad, but I also didn't want to risk her damaging my car. I said, I'm sorry, but I just don't feel comfortable with it. Maybe you could take an Uber or ask a friend. Sarah called me a terrible sister and stormed out. She accused me of never being there for her. I feel guilty for not helping her out. But at the same time, it's my car, and I worked really hard to get it. Was I being too selfish? AITA? AITA for not paying for my sister's wedding dress after she insulted mine. I, 27F, and my fiancé Jake, 29M, recently got engaged. My younger sister Sarah, 24F, also just got engaged to her boyfriend Tom, 26NM. We were both excited to start wedding planning. But things quickly got tense between us. When Sarah saw my wedding dress, she scrunched up her nose and said, Ugh, are you seriously wearing that? It looks like something a grandmother would wear. I was really hurt by her comment. My dress was simple, but elegant, and I loved it. A few weeks later, Sarah asked me if I could help pay for her dream wedding dress that cost $5,000. I told her, after the rude comments you made about my dress, I don't feel comfortable contributing to yours. Sarah got upset and accused me of being petty. Are you kidding me? You insulted my dress first, I yelled. She claimed she was just joking, but I felt it was a mean-spirited comment. Our mum thinks I should just get over it and help pay, since Sarah doesn't make much money. But Jake is on my side, saying her comments were uncalled for. AITA for refusing to pay after she insulted my dress. I'm starting to feel guilty, that I can't let this go, but her joke really stung.
AITA for not wanting my girlfriend to be friends with her male coworker. I, 28M, and my girlfriend Anna, 26F, have been together for 3 years. Recently, Anna started a new job and became friends with one of her coworkers, Jake, 29M. At first, I didn't think anything of it, but then Anna started mentioning Jake more and more in conversation. She would tell me about the funny things he said or the hilarious prank he pulled on another coworker. Then last week, Anna told me that Jake had invited her to grab drinks after work. I felt a bit uncomfortable with that and asked if any other coworkers were going. She said no, just the two of them. I tried to stay calm and said, I'm not sure how I feel about you going out alone with another guy for drinks. Anna got really defensive and said, Jake is just a friend from work. Why are you being so controlling? We ended up arguing about it, with me saying, I don't like the idea of her being alone with another man and her accusing me of not trusting her. In the end, she went to get drinks with Jake, which made me really upset. Anna says I'm being an insecure asshole and she should be allowed to have male friends. But part of me thinks emotional boundaries are important in a relationship. Ada? Ada for refusing to attend my best friend's wedding? I, 28, and my best friend Emma, 27F, have been close since college. We were roommates for 3 years and share everything with each other. Last year, Emma got engaged to her boyfriend Jake, 29 me, after dating for 5 years. When Emma told me about the wedding, she mentioned it would be a child-free event. Emma, I know you love your son, but Jake and I want an adults-only celebration. It's just one day. I'm a single dad to my 5-year-old son Alex after his mom passed away. Alex has no other family, so I can't leave him with anyone for the whole day. Me. I can't attend without Alex. He's my whole world now. Emma. This is so important to me. You're being selfish. Jake and Emma's families will all be child-free for the wedding, so they don't understand my situation. Emma hasn't spoken to me in weeks over this fight. I love her and want to be there for her big day, but Alex has to come first for me. Ada? AITA for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she insulted my girlfriend. I, 28M, have been dating my girlfriend Julia, 27F, for 3 years. My older sister Amy, 32F, is getting married next month and asked me to be a groomsman. During the pre-wedding events, Amy made some rude comments about Julia's appearance and career. She told me, I thought by now you'd have found a prettier, more successful girlfriend to bring as your date. I was furious and confronted her. Amy said, I'm just being honest, Julia isn't exactly a catch. I told Amy that her comments were unacceptable and that Julia and I would not be attending the wedding. My mom begged me, please don't boycott Amy's wedding over this. She's just stressed with the planning. But I feel that Amy crossed a line by insulting the woman I love. Julia doesn't want to make a scene and says I should still attend as a groomsman for the family's sake. She said, your sister was out of line, but we can be the bigger people here. However, I don't think I can celebrate Amy's marriage after her disrespect towards my girlfriend. So Ada for refusing to attend my sister's wedding over her insults towards my girlfriend.
AITA for refusing to go to my best friend's wedding. I, 28F, have been best friends with Amy, 27F, since we were kids. We've been through everything together, and there's no one I'm closer to. Amy recently got engaged to her boyfriend Mark, 29, after 5 years of dating. While I'm really happy for her, there's one major problem. Mark is my ex. Amy and Mark started dating shortly after Mark and I broke up 5 years ago. Our relationship ended pretty badly, and there was a lot of hurt and resentment on both sides. I eventually moved on, but I never really got over how things ended with Mark. When Amy told me they were dating, I was shocked, but decided to be supportive since she's my best friend. Over the years, I've had to watch them get more and more serious while burying my lingering feelings for Mark. It's been incredibly painful, but I put on a brave face for Amy's sake. Now that they're engaged, Amy has asked me to be a bridesmaid in the wedding. I just don't know if I can go through with it and watch the man I still love marry my best friend. When I told Amy I didn't think I could be in the wedding party, she got really upset. She accused me of being selfish and not supporting her on her big day. I tried to explain how painful it would be for me, but she doesn't seem to understand or care about my feelings. Mark hasn't said much, but I can tell he's uncomfortable with the situation too. Part of me feels like I should just suck it up and be there for Amy since she's been my rock for so long. But the other part of me doesn't know if I can handle watching them get married without completely breaking down. AITA for refusing to go to the wedding. AITA for refusing to go to my in-laws' Thanksgiving dinner. I, 28F, and my husband, 32M, have been married for 3 years. His parents have always been difficult with me. They are very traditional and didn't approve of our relationship at first because I'm not from the same cultural background. It's been an ongoing struggle to get them to accept me fully into the family. This year for Thanksgiving, My mother-in-law insisted we come over for dinner. When I hesitated, she said, "It would mean so much to have the whole family together. I've tried so hard to make it work with them, but they constantly make snide remarks about how I keep the house or criticize my cooking." Last time my father-in-law commented, "This dish would be better if you made it the way my wife does." My husband wants to keep the peace, but I'm tired of feeling judged and disrespected in their home. I told him I didn't want to go this year, and he got upset, saying, "They're still my parents. I can't avoid them forever." ATE for refusing to subject myself to that situation again. Or should I suck it up for my husband's sake? AITA for refusing to split the bill at my birthday dinner. I, 26F, and my boyfriend, 28Ma, went out for dinner at an upscale restaurant for my birthday with a group of friends. We were a total of 6 people. Me, my boyfriend, and 4 other friends. When the bill came, my boyfriend wanted to split it evenly among everyone. I'm not sure if I should have gone along with splitting it evenly. I ordered a much more expensive entree and several drinks, while some of my friends just had an appetizer. One of my friends spoke up. "Hey, it doesn't seem fair that we pay the same amount when you ordered way more food and drinks." My boyfriend got annoyed. "It's her birthday. Can't you all just chip in evenly as a gift?" "Stop being so cheap." This made another friend argue back. "Who are you calling cheap? It's not fair to make us subsidize your expensive taste." I felt really uncomfortable with the tension, so I tried to diffuse the situation. "Look, let's just split the bill by what each person ordered. I don't want to cause any drama on my birthday." But my boyfriend wasn't having it. "No way. They should be paying for your meal as a birthday treat. Don't let them make you feel bad." It ended with separate checks, but the mood was definitely ruined. AITA for not accepting my boyfriend's suggestion to split the bill evenly.
AITA for revealing my friend's secret at his wedding. I, 30M, and my best friend Alex, 31M, have been close since college. We've always been able to tell each other anything without judgment. A few months ago, Alex confided in me that he had gotten a woman pregnant during a drunken one-night stand before he met his now-wife Sarah, 29F. He told me he paid for the woman to get an abortion and never planned to tell Sarah. At Alex and Sarah's wedding last weekend, Alex's father gave a speech talking about how proud he was that Alex would be starting a family soon with the right woman. I couldn't stay quiet when I knew the truth, so I stood up and yelled, "Alex already has a kid out there from when he cheated on Sarah." The room went silent as Alex turned beet red. Sarah started crying and ran out of the reception hall. Alex confronted me, devastated, saying, "How could you do this to me on my wedding day? That was supposed to stay between us." I told him that Sarah deserved to know the truth before starting a marriage with him. His family was furious at me and said I had no right to reveal such a personal secret. But I feel like Sarah had a right to know who she was really marrying. So Ada for exposing my friend's past mistake at his wedding? I feel terrible for hurting Alex and ruining his big day. But I also think Sarah deserved the full truth.
AITA for revealing my sister's secret at her wedding. I, 28F, was the maid of honor at my sister Emily's 30th wedding a few weeks ago. Emily has been dating her now husband Mark, 32, for 5 years. During my speech at the reception, I revealed that Emily had gotten pregnant when she was 19 and had an abortion without telling Mark or our parents. Here's what happened. Emily and I were very close growing up, and she told me about the abortion in confidence when it happened. She made me swear not to tell anyone, especially not our very religious parents. I kept her secret for almost 10 years. During my speech, I talked about how Emily has always put her family first and made sacrifices for us. I said I was so proud of the woman she had become, and that I knew she would make an amazing wife and mother. Then, caught up in the emotion of the moment, I blurted out the story about her teenage pregnancy and abortion. Emily's face went pale, and she rushed out of the room in tears. Mark looked completely blindsided, and our parents were horrified. The mood of the entire wedding was ruined, and Emily refused to speak to me the rest of the night. I feel terrible for betraying her trust like that. But part of me thinks Mark had a right to know before getting married. AITA for revealing this deeply personal secret at her wedding. I want to make things right with Emily, but I don't know if she'll ever forgive me.
AITA for secretly replacing my girlfriend's birth control. I, 28M, and my girlfriend, 26F, have been together for 3 years. We're happy and have talked about getting married, but she is firmly against having kids for now. She's on the pill and always very careful about taking it. Recently, I found out my friend's wife got pregnant after he poked holes in her condoms without telling her. I know it's messed up, but I really want to start a family soon. So a few weeks ago, I replaced her birth control pills with sugar pills without her knowing. Last night, she got her period and was really relieved. She said, "Thank God I'm not pregnant." I felt guilty but also hopeful it might happen soon. So, AITA for secretly replacing her birth control? I know I went behind her back, but I really want us to have a baby. AITA for taking my girlfriend's side over my best friend's? I, 27M, have been dating my girlfriend, 25F, for 2 years, and my best friend, 28M, has been my closest friend since childhood. Recently, there was a big conflict between them that put me in an awkward position. My girlfriend and best friend were invited to a wedding, but she was not listed as a +1 on my invitation. When she found out, she was really upset and felt disrespected. I can't believe they snubbed me like that. Don't they know we're a serious couple? My best friend didn't see the big deal. It's just one wedding, no need to make a scene. But my girlfriend insisted on either both of us attending or neither. I tried to stay neutral at first, but it quickly became an argument between them, both pressuring me to take their side. Eventually, I sided with my girlfriend and told my best friend that I thought the bride was rude for excluding her. My best friend was really hurt and felt betrayed. I thought you would have my back, man. She's just being overdramatic. He ended up not going to the wedding at all, which created more drama. My girlfriend was happy I supported her, but I don't want to completely ruin my friendship over this. I feel caught in the middle. AITA for siding with my girlfriend over my lifelong best friend in this situation? I can see both perspectives.
AITA for telling my sister her baby is ugly? I, 29th, and my sister, 26F, have always had a strained relationship. She just had her first baby, a son, and invited me over to meet him. When I arrived, she immediately gushed over how perfect and beautiful he is. I tried to muster enthusiasm, but truthfully, I don't think he's cute at all. After a few minutes, my sister asked, "Isn't he just the most precious thing you've ever seen?" Not wanting to lie, I responded, "Honestly, sis, he's kind of ugly." Her face dropped and she got furious. "How dare you say that about my baby? Get out of my house." I tried apologizing. "I'm sorry, I was just being honest." But she wasn't having it. Her husband also got mad at me, saying, "You don't insult someone's newborn child like that." They kicked me out, and I haven't heard from them since. I feel bad for hurting her feelings, but isn't it better to be honest? Babies grow out of that ugly face anyway. AITA?
AITA for telling my sister to stop being dramatic about her allergies. I, 27E, and my sister Jenny, 23F, were at a family dinner last night. Jenny has a severe nut allergy, which she's always been very careful about. But this time, when the main course was served, she started freaking out. "Oh my God, there are almonds in this dish." "I can't eat this," Jenny exclaimed. My mom insisted there were no nuts, but Jenny wouldn't listen. "You don't understand how serious this is." "If I eat that, I could die," she shouted, making a big scene. I tried to calm her down. "Jenny, you're overreacting. Mom would never make something with nuts if you were coming." But she refused to touch the food. Later, my dad admitted he had accidentally added sliced almonds as a garnish. Jenny glared at me with an "I told you so" look. I got frustrated. This is so ridiculous. You're being a drama queen about this allergy thing. Jenny stormed out in tears. My parents were mad that I invalidated her very real health concern, but I think she grossly overreacts about her allergies all the time. Ada?
AITA for yelling at my friend over her expensive wedding plans. I, 28F, have been friends with Megan, 27F, since college. She recently got engaged to her boyfriend 30M of 5 years and immediately started planning an extravagant wedding. The venue she chose cost $25,000 just to rent for the day. On top of that, she wants designer gowns for herself and all 8 bridesmaids, a 10-piece band, fancy catered food, and expensive floral arrangements. She told me the total budget is over $100,000. I tried to express my concern about the cost, suggesting cheaper options, but she brushed me off. Megan, are you sure you can afford to spend that much? She replied, don't worry. My parents are wealthy and covering most of it. At her bridal shower last weekend, the conversation turned to her wedding plans again. She gushed, I can't wait for my dream wedding. It's going to be so glamorous and Instagram-worthy. That really rubbed me the wrong way, so I snapped. Are you kidding me? Spending that much money on one day just for photos is ridiculous. I'm worried you're going overboard and getting too materialistic. Megan looked hurt, and the room went silent. Her sister pulled me aside, saying, how dare you judge Megan's choices? She can do what she wants with her parents' money. But am I really the asshole for expressing concern over such excessive wedding spending? I thought I was just looking out for my friend, but maybe I overstepped. AITA?